I decided that I wanted to go ahead and answer some student questions. Many of these questions were submitted in advance by the students in the Ask Dr. Boyce program. So I'm going to answer your questions now, and I will state your name with the question. Looks like we have quite a few in here now. My goal is to make you smarter, make you money, help you survive, help you succeed. That's what the goal is now. So I'm going to answer these questions in a rapid fire fashion. So here we go. First question is from Shaniqua. Shaniqua asks, do you recommend paid subscriptions for financial sites such as Motley Fool, The Street, etc.? Yes, I do. I subscribe to quite a few of them because the analyst ratings are extremely good, because I like the fact that the analysts go through the annual reports so that I don't have to. That actually saves my time. Next question is from Rhonda Sanders Adams. Hello, my question to you is it possible to become an official affiliate instructor for the Powernomics books that you and Ice Cube are donating to the Black communities? These survival books go well with the proposal I sent you a few months ago. Okay. All right. Well, I did not see the proposal, but if you want to email it to producer@flynubianmedia.com, that's producer@flynubianmedia.com, then we can take a look. I can have my team take a look. As far as licensing anything related to Powernomics, I cannot do that, because that is Dr. Claude Anderson's book and that is his brand. But I will propose it to him and see what he says, see what he thinks. And if you want to know what else she's talking about, Ice Cube actually, to his credit, I want to give a shout out to Ice Cube. I hit the brother up and I asked him, I said, there are a lot of people who want to get a copy of Powernomics but can't afford it. So will you join me? And we each buy 1,000 copies of Powernomics to give away, which will allow us to do two things. One, we can get some knowledge to the Black community. Two, we can support the Powernomics Corporation and Dr. Claude Anderson and the Harvest Institute. And Ice Cube immediately said yes. So Ice Cube did follow through. He's a man of his word, so I'm here to vouch for that and to say that we have the books in storage. We're just trying to figure out a way to make sure they get to the people that need them. If you can afford your own copy, please do not take a free copy. But if you are struggling financially, then we want you to have a copy of Powernomics in your house. So Ice Cube and I are giving some copies away. I'm going to talk to Cube again in the future and ask him if he'll join me in giving away some more. All right, next question is from Hubert Bass. Hubert Bass says, my wife and I are both respiratory therapists, and this pandemic has allowed us to make a lot of money. Good for you. Congratulations. We're considering going into the online CBD business. Which do you believe is better, a CBD franchise or a CBD private white label? We invest in the stock market also, but good for you. That's very smart. I can't say which, that one is necessarily better than the other. I almost think white label might be better. That way you can create your own brand, make it nice and black, and do your own thing with it. But then again, franchises are nice because they kind of give you good instructions on how to get started with the product and how to sell it and all this other stuff. So franchises are great because it's like a nice business in a box. You don't have to figure out the business model. It's already written out for you. It's kind of a mixed bag. I guess it depends on the cost of the franchise and what kind of support they give you. Anyway, if you guys are interested in starting a franchise with your family, we actually have a franchise program in the Black Business School. That is part 4 of our Black Money sequence. So if you go to theblackfranchiseprogram.com, theblackfranchiseprogram.com, we actually have a whole curriculum on how to start a franchise. So feel free to go take a look at that. All right, next question from Sean Brown. Dr. Boyce, after the earnings announcement is over with a particular company, what resource do you recommend to find out if that company met expectations or not? Excellent question. Typically, the media will tell you. Usually when CNBC and other places report a company's earnings, they instantly tell you if the company met earnings expectations or not. The funny thing, though, is that sometimes the company won't meet earnings expectation, their price will go up. And sometimes they will surpass the expectation, their price will actually go down. So, no one really knows exactly what the consensus expectation actually is. They have estimates, they have the medians and the means, and they talk to all the analysts and they take the number right in the middle. But that doesn't always mean, that doesn't account for the weighting in terms of how investors sort of weight the different analysts' expectations. So that's a real tough one. But typically when companies don't meet their earnings numbers, their price goes down. And when they do surpass their earnings numbers, the price goes up. Let's see. Matthew asks, I live in Italy. Which investment app functions like Stash International? I registered with Stash. I was told it was only meant for U.S. citizens. Okay. I think apps like Webull and M1 Finance are international. but it depends on what country you're in. So you may want to search for your country and look for investment apps in your country. You can probably do that with a Google search. I imagine that would be a good way to find out, because there's so many countries, and I wish they had one international standard, but they don't. Let's see. Daryl asks, what are the 3 best financial tips for opening an indoor hydroponics farm? Talk to somebody who's done it. Talk to somebody who's done it, and talk to somebody who's done it. Those are my 3 best tips, because I do not run a hydroponics farm, so I cannot tell you the specifics on hydroponics, but I can tell you that there are fundamentals about making money, like buy low, sell high. And then, by the way, did I mention you should talk to somebody who's done it? I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but just in case I didn't, talk to somebody who's done it. Jeffrey McGowan asks, Dr. Boyce, 2021's the year of planning to get off the corporate plantation. Food business options, products / distribution during Powernomics class. You touched on the shrimp industry, etc. Well, actually, that was Dr. Claude Anderson. That was in the Powernomics Masterclass, which you can take a look at, by the way. The recording's there at powernomicsmasterclass.com if you'd like to go take a look. You can get a little certificate and everything. It's kind of nice. What about distressed food products? They buy clothes, coated food, and sell to prisoners, etc. Okay, distressed food products. I guess, are you talking about food like during the pandemic, maybe, or are you talking about prison inmates in particular? I don't quite understand the question, but I would say that when it comes to something like that, I would talk to somebody who's done it, and just know that things like that require a decent amount of capital also, and some knowledge of the food industry. So if you don't have knowledge of that industry, I wouldn't go dumping my life savings into something where you haven't done it before, because that's a good way to lose all your money. Let's see. Next question from Terrence Lewis. I'm answering questions from Ask Dr. Boyce. Those of you who are enrolled in AskDrBoyce.com, you send me your questions. I answer all your questions. I use your name. Those who want to actually take a look can go to AskDrBoyce.com. You can actually get 70% off the program if you want to use that URL right now. AskDrBoyce.com. All right, so let's see here. Terrence Lewis is asking, with the economic rise of cryptocurrency and the stock market at an all-time high, should I focus on investing to take advantage of the opportunity to increase my net worth, or focus on paying off consumer debt, or do both simultaneously? That is a great question. Well, if you have consumer debt that has a high interest rate, then that's a good way to guarantee that you're going to get a good return on your investment. Because if you have some credit card where you're paying 14% interest on it, paying down that debt guarantees that you're going to get a 14% return on investment, because a penny saved is a penny earned. A penny that you don't spend is like putting a penny in your pocket. Whereas the stock market goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And while you do have the big wins, like I mentioned, my 2 favorite investments this month were Tilray and Ethereum. Both Tilray went up over 100% this month. Ethereum went up almost 100% this month. I think 93%. So you've literally got these investments that are doubling in a freaking month and quadrupling in a year. It's kind of crazy right now. It's kind of fun. It's really fun to be an investor right now, but it's not always like this. So don't get used to this, because you can also see big losses if you're not careful. I personally think that there's no clear answer to that question per se. I think you got to think about a couple of things. 3 levels that come to mind. One is saving money, right? Because if you're spending money on the credit card, you're losing money. So you got to kind of cut that expense down a little bit. Second level is growth potential, meaning, that everything's out here happening. You're getting this fear of missing out, AKA FOMO, where you're thinking, man, all these people are making all this money. I want to be a part of that. I want to be in the game. I don't blame you, because it's a fun game to be in. And then there's like that third level, just your personality type. Do you really want to spend, 5 years paying off debt before you can start investing? That's not fun. I don't think that's fun. And then also you got to think about cash flow, right? If you have cash in your hand, that cash is security. Liquid assets are security, meaning cash or things that can easily be turned into cash, like stock you can sell in case your car breaks down and you need $3,000 or whatever the case may be. So keeping things liquid can be as important as actually increasing your net worth. The thing about paying down a bunch of debt, so let's say, for example, you have $30,000 in student loans and you suddenly come into 10 grand. Do I recommend taking the whole 10 grand and putting it all toward your student loans? No, because then you lose your 10 grand. And then if you have an emergency, you can't go back to the student loan people and say, hey, can you give me 2,000 back because my car broke down? You keep cash in your pocket. So when it comes to that, I would say that I like stock market investing because it gives you liquid access. It gives you access to a liquid asset that can save your butt in case things get a little bit crazy. All right. So next question is, and by the way, these questions are coming from those of you who are enrolled in Ask Dr. Boyce. There are a lot of questions here, so I'm going to answer them all. And those of you who are just listening in can listen in on the answers. All right. So DeAndre Thomas is asking, my mother left our son over $20,000 8 years ago. He will be able to claim it at the age of 18, which is in 2 years. We are trying to get him ready for this. We decided to tell him on his 18th birthday when it's time to call and claim it. What should he invest in? I think that there's three options for investment. There's real estate, there's starting a business, and then there's the stock market. I think that what he invests in should depend on what he's really most interested in. I think that if he's not sure what he wants to do, a nice, healthy, diversified mutual fund might be a good way to get started, but that might be a little bit boring. Maybe he has a passion or something that he might want to put a little money into, but I would definitely encourage you to make sure that he diversifies and spreads his money out so it doesn't all go in one place. I think that's probably the biggest mistake you can make when it comes to where you invest your money. Next question is Troy Smith. Troy says, can I write off my business startup costs, including attorney and accountant fees? I am not an accountant. I'm not an attorney, but talk to your attorney and your accountant and just be sure. But I believe that you can. I don't see why you can't based on the information you provided to me here. Janice Glass. Hey, Dr. Boyce, I'm signed up for the Black Business Bootcamp. Oh, you mean the Black Wealth Bootcamp, Black Wealth, which I am enjoying. Good. How can I take a free class which makes me a better writer and articulate speaker other than Toastmasters online? I need to level up my writing skills. Let's see, writing. I think that if you maybe were to, Google search on how to be a better writer, there's probably videos out there. Udemy probably has some classes on writing. There's a lot of stuff out there, but here's how I became a better writer. Janice, let me tell you this. I actually, you're talking to a kid who failed English class more times than I can count. I literally would fail English class every single time I took the class. And so you wouldn't expect me to ever be a decent writer. Like, why would I be a good writer? I failed English class over and over and over again. Well, what happened was, I didn't realize that actually the way I became a good writer was I started keeping a journal when I was 18 years old. And I used to write, in this journal all the time. And eventually I got to know what a good sentence kind of felt like, what it sounded like. And I was reading a lot in college. So a lot of reading and a lot of writing will naturally make you a better writer because you just know instinctively what a good sentence sounds like. Like, I don't know a dangling participle from a piece of chicken, but I can tell you if a sentence flows properly or doesn't flow, almost like music. How you have a lot of people that are good with music, but they never took a music class. Well, I was kind of like that with writing. So I would encourage you to write every day. If you want to be a good writer, you got to practice. Next, Tamika. Dr. Watkins, you mentioned you were buying Virgin Galactic this week so you can sell the call options. Which specific call options are you selling and at what premium? That's a good question. So you're probably in the options class. That's the stock options masterclass, stockoptionsmasterclass.com for those of you that are interested. So with Virgin Galactic, I am right now actually not selling the options just yet. I want to build up enough in my portfolio to be able to actually do the things I want to do. But I am piling up my assets within Virgin Galactic because I like the options premium. If I were to go in and look for options to sell, I would probably, if I'm looking for monthly income, I would probably go for something like maybe I would take the price. Let's say it's $31. I think that's Virgin Galactic. And I would add 10%. And I would pick a strike price that's 10% above the existing price. This is just a preference though. So 10% of 31 is about $3 a share, a little bit more. So I would pick up a strike price at about 34 and I would give it about 30 days and I would sell that particular option and get the income from that. So I don't know what the Virgin Galactic options are. I'm going to guess. So let's say that particular option has a premium of say $200 and something. So that would mean that for every 100 shares you own, you might get $200 and let's say $250 for every 100 shares that you own. 100 shares of Virgin Galactic costs about $3,100. So getting $250 off in a month off a $3,100 investment, I think is pretty good. That's better than like rental property. Like rental property, actually, you couldn't even get rental property for $3,100. But imagine if you somehow lucked out and got a property for $31,000. Well, if you were able to sell a call option on $31,000 worth of Virgin Galactic stock, you could easily get say $2,000 in a month. And there's no property you can buy where you're going to make $2,000 a month off a $31,000 investment. And so In fact, I actually own a property. One property I own is I think the cost was about $110,000, and the monthly rent is about $1,700. And then also we got to pay the mortgage and stuff. So the cash flow is much lower. So actually, I find that writing call options, selling call options, is a better way to generate a return on capital than actually owning property. That's why I own property just for diversification's sake. But actually, I enjoy writing the call options. It's a lot of fun. So if you want to learn more or want to learn more about options and adding that to your investment strategy, you can go to stockoptionsmasterclass.com. That's stockoptionsmasterclass.com. The URL is right there on the screen. Okay, so next question is from Fred. Fred Woodard is asking, does it make sense to take money out of my retirement fund to pay off a credit card? It doesn't if you have to pay the 10% penalty for early withdrawal. This is not financial advice, but based on what you're telling me, if you're not over 65 yet, then you're going to have to pay a penalty to the IRS, and you're going to have to pay taxes on that money. So I don't know if that's a good move. Maybe you go borrow against it, get a low interest loan and then pay it off with that. Then you're doing kind of an interest arbitrage kind of thing. Arbitrage is where you buy low, sell high. So that means that basically you're getting rid of the high interest rate and you're paying a lower interest rate. That might be a way to go. But beyond that, I can't imagine why you would take money out of your retirement account to pay a credit card. That's just my 2 cents. Let's see here. Nadira is asking, how can students access the PowerPoint presentations from the Black Wealth Bootcamp? Very easy. You can actually just log in at blackwealthbootcamp.com. That's blackwealthbootcamp.com. Those of you who haven't taken a look at the Black Wealth Bootcamp, I'll put the URL on the screen. It's blackwealthbootcamp.com. And also, in case some of you are asking where I'm getting these questions from, they're coming from those of you who submitted your questions last week and askdrboyce.com. You can go to askdrboyce.com. And if you're not in there yet, you can actually get 70% off. If you want to go sign up now, feel free to do that at askdrboyce.com. Okay, so next question is from Lashad. Lashad says, I purchased the $29 curriculum special twice by accident. I'm asking to refund it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you accidentally did that twice, Lashad, we want to give you that refund for sure. So if you have any problems, anybody who has any problems with the Black Business School, just know we have an awesome customer support team, and they are waiting for your email. You can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support@theblackbusinessschool.com. They will instantly give you a refund and take good care of you. And by the way, anybody who signs up for anything at the Black Business School, just know that everything comes with a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee if you're unhappy for any reason whatsoever. So we do not want you to be unhappy. We want to be a Black-owned university that becomes massive. We have 130,000 students all around the world. We want to have 1 million because we believe that we can educate Black people better than anybody on the planet when it comes to Black wealth. We are concerned, massively concerned, with one important question, which is how do you close the racial wealth gap? How do you make Black people the most financially literate group of people on the planet? How do we take the lead in economics? I have a PhD in this stuff, so you know what I'm talking. You know that I know what I'm talking about, and we're good at this. We're better at this than anybody else in the world because we're able to sift through the nonsense and get to the dollars and cents and get to the actual solutions that are going to work for your family. So, Azuri, do you have knowledge of Forex? Yes, I do. Do you recommend it as a way to get out of a state government job? No, I do not. I do not think Forex is a simple, straight, direct way to replace your income. I'm not arguing with everybody in here who loves Forex. If you love it, keep loving it. But what I will tell you is that the Forex market operates very differently from the stock market. With the stock market, it is very easy for me to train your 8-year-old on how they can actually have more money than most grown-ups by the time they're 12. It's very easy for me to do that. With your 8-year-old or with your dog, I could train your dog on how to have more money than the people that actually own the dog. With Forex, it's what they call a zero-sum game. Forex means that in order for you to win, somebody else has got to lose. In order for you to make money, somebody else has to be losing money. That's a different game. That means you might win, you might lose. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Those are two different markets. Forex, the beauty of the Forex market, though, is that it's open 24 hours a day, so it's very exciting. It's like a big casino. It's extremely liquid, which means you can move and chuck and jive and move assets just constantly all the time. So Forex is exciting, but Forex is not easy, simple, straightforward money the way certain other areas are. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not telling you what to do. Just give you a perspective. By the way, if you haven't taken a look at the free lecture on Black financial security, on how to secure your family financially, there is a free lecture right there at blackfinancialsecurity.com. So those of you who are struggling financially, who don't want to invest in anything or don't want to sort of make any moves just yet, but just want to learn, go to blackfinancialsecurity.com. Even if you're not struggling, it's still a great lecture, and I think that I'm just really good at this. So I know this is going to help you. If it doesn't help you, then let us know, and I'll be kind of surprised, but I'll find out what I can do to actually help you. All right, next, Marcia. Williams Bowie is asking, do you have any thoughts on why the gold stocks are not going up? Do you believe that the world will go cashless, and what will that mean for society? Two very good questions. I do not know why gold is not going up. I would only speculate that gold, perhaps, it could be because gold has already gone up so much. Let me see here. I'm going to look at the gold ETF, which I think has the ticker symbol GLD. And let me see what it looks like. Okay. Woof. Okay. Yeah, it's let me look at the last month. Okay, last 6 months. Okay. Yeah, it's been doing pretty bad this month. It's in the red. It's blood red, which means it's going down. But the last 6 months it's gone up, but not as much as I thought it would have gone. And the last year has actually gone down. So yeah, well, the thing about gold is not what it's cracked up to be. I know everybody like gold is fun, gold is interesting, gold seems like flashy and people like to wear it and it looks good. But I don't really think gold is a great investment. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you're looking for something that operates like gold, Bitcoin is a whole lot more fun than gold, just to tell you the truth. I'm not telling you that Bitcoin is always going to be wonderful, though, because Bitcoin does have corrections, right? But I had a crypto panel on the other day. If you go to the blackfinancialchannel.com, you can check out the crypto panel, and they seem really enthusiastic about the direction of Bitcoin and the direction of a lot of the other cryptos like Ethereum. Ethereum has gone up about 97% or something this month. And the thing about crypto is I kind of have this, I just sort of spread my money out, talk to some experts. And actually, if you want to copy my crypto portfolio, if you go to drboycecrypto.com, you can go there right now. I have a screenshot of all the crypto I own. You can go to drboycecrypto.com. And if you want to just see what I bought, I won't tell anybody how much I bought because I'm not a big fan of like bragging about how much money you have because I feel like that's kind of obnoxious. But I can show you what I own. So if you want to go to drboycecrypto.com, you can go there and take a look, and it shows all the crypto that I have. All right. So next, the next question. Oh, do you believe the society will go cashless? Yeah, I think it will. And what does that mean? It just means it'll be cashless. I don't know what it would mean beyond that. I think maybe perhaps it could threaten the dollar. A lot of people feel that the dollar should not be the reserve currency for the world any longer. I believe the Chinese have a real issue with that, and I feel that the transfer over to a digital currency globally is going to be bad for the dollar. And just so you know, just my eagle eyes are telling me, and my spidey senses are telling me that the Chinese are using all the pandemic as an opportunity for economic and political power plays that are going to have implications for the next 100 years. They're not like the United States. The United States, we can't get anything done because we fighting each other. We storming the Capitol and beating each other up in the street and cussing each other out and calling each other names. In China, they're kind of more organized and more unified, probably because they're a totalitarian government, which actually we're going to be totalitarian pretty soon, if we keep going in that direction. But the good thing about that sort of framework is that they don't spend time arguing. It's like imagine the Democrats and Republicans are like a married couple, and they're fighting all the time. If you're fighting all the time and you got to like get in the car and drive to church, you're not going to get anywhere because you're going to be fighting all the time. You're going to be fighting over the steering wheel. Well, I should drive. No, I should drive. No, I should drive. I should drive. Right. And then you're going to crash the car. Whereas China is like a marriage where the wife or the husband has absolute authority and tells the other spouse what to do. So that couple's going to get to church a lot faster than the couple that's fighting all the time. So the United States is in that first category. China's a little bit more productive. So China's going to kick our butt. They've already passed the United States. I think pretty soon they're going to pass the U.S. in total size of their economy. And then within the next 40, 50 years, they'll pass us in per capita income. And the United States, also, if you look at just trends in terms of education, they educate their kids. We don't. So we're just in big trouble. So that's just what it is. Okay, next, Sean Brown says, Dr. Boyce, so actually one more thought on China. I just had a nephew 2 days ago, and I had a niece about 2 years and 2 days ago. And my nephew and my niece, I told my brother, I said, we're going to make sure these children know Chinese. We have a 17-year-old that's about to graduate. He studied Chinese, and I recommended all of them study Chinese because China is going to be the power broker of this century. The United States is going down. China's coming up, and that's just the way it's going to be. Africa's on the come up too, by the way. I will talk about that later. All right. So Sean Brown, Dr. Boyce, as it pertains to REITs, real estate investment trust, do I need to invest in many different REITs for diversification, or is investing in one REIT sufficient? Well, I think it would depend on whether that REIT is properly diversified. But I think just to be safe, Sean, I would, in my view, this is not investment advice, but it's my view, I would spread my money out just in general. I'm not a big believer in investing all your money into any one thing anyway, even if it's a diversified company. Like GE is pretty diversified, but I wouldn't just invest in GE because at the end of the day, it's still one company. So I would kind of just keep that in mind. All right, so next question is Kay Simmons. Kay Simmons says, hi, I'm a new investor. I started my journey on August 11th, 2020. Good for you. To make a long story short, I was a victim of a type of malware, and those criminals depleted my stocks and Bitcoins. Oh, no. What can I do to get my money back? I've contacted the SEC and no help. Oh, well, Bitcoin's hard to get back. Bitcoin is so hard to get back. You may want to, I guess I'm thinking if I had a problem like that with some kind of malware, I might go to a place like Geek Squad over at Best Buy. That's literally the best thing I can think of is someplace like a Geek Squad where they have people that can actually help you get viruses off your computer. Make sure you put antivirus software on your computers if you haven't done it yet. And Kay, I'm really sorry. That's the best I can think of. Bitcoin's hard to get back. Once Bitcoin is kind of gone, it's sort of gone. That's the scary thing about Bitcoin that you want to be careful about. There's a guy that actually had 7,300 Bitcoins, and which is worth about $250 million. And he lost the hard drive. He actually threw away the hard drive that had $250 million worth of Bitcoin on it, and he can't get it back. And I have a cousin actually who just randomly tells me that someone gave him 38 Bitcoins just because Bitcoins weren't worth anything at the time. They were worth like $1 a piece or $2. So the guy gave him 38 Bitcoins, and my cousin literally has. I said, 38 times let me see, I can't remember what the exact total was, but I want to say it was about $1.5 million. I said, you have $1.5 million that you didn't know about. And he's like, oh really? Oh, that's cool. And so anyway, but he's a good businessman, so that's why he didn't care, because he's already got money. And by the way, he didn't go to college, by the way, in case you're wondering. He didn't. It's not like he went to Harvard or Yale. He just spent the time that a lot of us might have spent going to college. Honestly, he spent that time learning how to run a business and how to program computers. He's into technology and business and entrepreneurship, which is the best combination for making money. If you know entrepreneurship and you know technology, that gives you the ability to scale. That's how Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos make so much more money than everyone else, is because they're not just smart and they don't just understand how to start businesses, and they don't not just understand ownership, but they understand technology, which allows them to scale what they know. So that's why Elon Musk makes $300 million a day. Now, most people don't make $300 million a day. That's a lot of money, but I do know regular people who make maybe $50,000 a day, $30,000 a day, even $100,000 a day. So this is real. This is really happening. And America is becoming more unequal over time because of that. The pandemic is making it even worse. The people that know the technology are doing extremely well. Those who aren't into technology and don't understand ownership and entrepreneurship are hurting. So I encourage you to make sure your kids are kind of prepared for the future in that way. That's really important. And by the way, speaking of kids, we have financial workbooks. If you haven't taken a look, you can actually go to financialworkbooks.com and take a look at our financial workbooks for kids. We designed them with Black educators. They're extremely good. So feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. Okay, next question is from Natasha Underwood. Natasha Underwood says, I hope you're doing well. My question is, when starting out investing with $5 a day, how many apps would you recommend to diversify my portfolio? What strategy do you recommend for new investors? What recommendations do you suggest for buying stock? Those are a lot of questions. Okay, so let's start with the $5 a day plan. It sounds like that's what Miss Natasha is doing. Good for you. I'm very proud of you. I think this is going to work out well for your family. You're going to be in very good shape. So first thing I want to let you guys know is that if you want to take a look at the $5 a day investing plan, you can get a copy at the allblackagenda.com, theallblackagenda.com. In terms of the number of apps, since $5 a day is a small number, I would start with one app, right? But eventually, maybe once you hit a critical mass, maybe a few $100 or a couple $1,000 on one app, maybe get a second one so you can spread it out so your money can be in different places. I don't think you want to put all your money in one place. So the other thing is what strategy? Well, it depends on, I know I lost my audio. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I don't know if you guys can hear me at all. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, then I'm going to have to shut part of this down. Okay, so the next thing that I would say is In terms of investing strategy, I would seek out diversification. Diversification means basically not putting all your eggs in one basket. So that might mean ownership of mutual funds. Mutual funds are a great way to start. Or at the very least, if you buy individual stocks, spread your money out across different stocks. So if you want to take a look at the $5 a day plan, you can go to theallblackagenda.com. There's a lot of information there in addition to the $5 a day plan. So feel free to take a look. And also, if you want to know where I'm getting the questions from, I'm getting the questions from the students who are in Ask Dr. Boyce. So if you'd like to go sign up and have me answer your questions specifically using your name, you can actually get 70% off by going to askdrboyce.com. The URL's on the screen. Okay, last question is from Andre T. He says, my mother left our son $20,000. Oh, okay. So you're talking about your son. Okay, so you already asked that question about your son. Okay. Yeah, when your son's 18, though, I would be really cautious about giving him all the money. I'm not a big believer in giving 18-year-olds a lot of money because I don't think that works out well long term, because 18-year-olds, unfortunately, 18-year-olds are pretty stupid. I know I was incredibly stupid when I was 18. So your child is probably stupid like I was, maybe a little bit smarter than me, but still stupid, because when you're 18, your brain isn't even fully developed. You're literally operating with a piece of a brain, not a full brain. So I wouldn't give all the money to him. I would give him pieces of it under the assumption that he did certain things with it, productive things with it. And as far as where to invest it, it depends on what he wants to do and what he wants to do with his life. But three major areas to invest would be in a small business, in real estate, or in stocks. Owning a business takes probably the most skill. Real estate takes the second most skill. Owning stock takes almost no skill at all. So you might want to start there. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I just got a call from Alicia. She's telling me it's time for us to have family movie night. So if you haven't joined AskDrBoyce.com, you can go there. There's the URL on the screen. And so I'm going to get out of here, guys. So have a good night, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.